Amy, we're here to talk about the Affordable Home Ownership
Yep.
Conference on the 4th of June. Can we start with a really simple one? Could you tell us who affordable home ownership is for and why it matters so much right now?
It matters hugely now more than ever, and I know we say that pretty much every year or every time we kind of get together, but it really does. And there isn't one group of people that it actually is for. Shared ownership is growing in its need for so many different groups of people. We've been around long enough, I think, where it was primarily first-time buyers and it was really aimed at that. Yes, there are a huge amount of first-time buyers that still access and need the product, but what we're seeing now is it's kind of breadth for much more wider market. So downsizers, marital and relationship breakdowns, people not wanting to go into retirement homes but wanting some independence, and equally those that maybe are living in outright ownership and actually need to release a bit of cash and release a bit of pressure and get into shared ownership because they can't afford anything else. The affordability challenges that we are seeing are really crystallising for us at the moment, and equally for those people that probably could have bought outright probably 18 months, 2 years ago, can't do that anymore. So what we're seeing is they are looking to shared ownership. And even for those people that private rent now is out of reach, shared ownership is affordable compared to private rent.
So Amy, why does 2026 feel like such an important moment for shared ownership, and what's changed since, say, this time last year?
I think a lot's changed. I think I'm also very conscious that we start these things every year with we're in a challenging year, and it feels like we're in this continued challenging cycle. But I think this year, yes, we're in challenging, which we'll talk about, but there are equally some great opportunities and some great initiatives that have come to the fore. Things like the Shared Ownership Code that are really delivering on some real big promises, and something that will, I think, be really changeable and positive for the sector and customers overall. So I think the challenges that we face are nothing new around people's access to home ownership and the need that people want that. I think affordability is huge for customers at the moment. We really have seen the impact of austerity and the cost of living. I know it felt ages ago when all of this happened to everybody, but what we're really starting to see is those people coming out of fixed term contracts, fixed term financing, and actually being unable to raise funds at the same level before. So access to something like shared ownership is really, really key, but we are seeing a drop in affordability, and that's just the market we're in. I think we've constantly got policy changes around shared ownership, which is a challenge, but equally a positive. I think there are years that we've spent sat round tables wanting government to notice shared ownership and wanting it to take it as seriously as other tenures, and they do, and they're supportive. We've got great relationships with MHCLG, GLA and Homes England, who are all going to be at the conference. And I think it's really a great foundation to continue to build on. They're very interested in how we continue to move the policy dial forward. For organisations delivering, but equally for the consumer, and I think that's really important. So global events are hugely on everybody's mind at the moment, and we are definitely seeing an impact in real time of those. So we just have to monitor that landscape, and equally, we've got the skills and expertise to adapt to that and advise our consumers and customers for that, but it is a challenge that we are facing.
So there's been a lot of interest in shared ownership politically this year.
Yeah.
There's also been a report by the NAO, and one of the themes coming out of that was ongoing complexity in the product.
Yeah.
How will we be looking at that at the conference?
As always, it's a huge theme throughout the conference, running throughout most sessions, to be honest. We will be looking at kind of customer communications to make sure that they're clear and consistent. So I would advise get yourself booked onto those sessions, get yourself booked onto the conference if you're not already, because it really is something that we're going to delve into and really try to unpick, and also get some balance around that. As part of what we're doing at the Exchange and as part of what we do at the day job at Asda as well, is around how can we take things like the NAO report, which was a really balanced report, but then how do we still end up with the headlines that we end up with, and making sure that we are getting the reporting that we need and ultimately the outcome for our customers that we need, because things like the NAO report were actually quite leading into what they want to see for consumers and customers. And I think you overlay that with everybody's kind of commitment to their day jobs, what the code's trying to deliver, what the national campaign's trying to deliver. You know, the sector's in a really good place to be able to answer those criticisms and complexities, and it's just how as a sector and as a group we mobilise that, and I think that'll be a really huge key part of the conference this year.
So Amy, this conference is a partnership between National Housing Federation and the Exchange. Can you tell us a bit about the Exchange and why this partnership matters?
Yeah, I think it matters hugely. It's a partnership that we've had for many years. I think, you know, even in guises before the Exchange was founded. So Kelly from TMP and myself founded the Exchange just as a part of the day job, really, just to make sure that there's a network and a community for shared ownership professionals up and down the country, or anybody involved in shared ownership. And our role, really, we see that as an enabler to be able to debunk things, educate, and make sure that everybody understands everything that's going on. We constantly run sessions of unpicking things. So say if there's an update to the capital funding guide, we will run a session, and as many sessions as member wants, going through line by line so they understand it. We're really committed to that, but we're really committed also to be doing the right things and for purpose. And part of why this partnership matters is, you know, we want to partner with like-minded organisations, but equally we want there to be one destination for professionals to go to. You know, we don't need more conferences, we don't need more paid for events. Actually, what we need is access to high quality content and support that you guys offer. So I think it's hugely important, and part of where we're going to be driving this is what we started to do at last year's conference was the conversations and the work doesn't stop in the room. We actually take things out of that conference, and we then deliver some work and some projects out the back of that. So actually being part of the conference and coming to the conference and actually engaging with us, talking to us, there's going to be lots of opportunities to actually have your say. And I think what's really important there is you're actually going to see that work continue throughout the year.
So we're meeting on the 4th of June
We are.
in London. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm most looking forward to seeing everybody in person. It feels like a real event every year, I think, because we don't get together often enough. But equally, we've really co-created this conference to be all about the customer, and I think that's really, really important. I think of the challenges we've spoke about and the kind of the challenges we face head on. Ultimately, we do this for our customers and making sure that their lives are better, whether that's from the code, whether that's from the customer journey, who our future customers are, how we're engaging with them, how we're speaking to them. The conference really has our customer at the centre, and that's what I'm most excited about. And this year we've got the first ever Lender Village, which is a great initiative that we've managed to bring to the programme this year, where we're really connecting lenders with the sector, so you can go and speak directly to them, find out what their challenges are, and actually have a conversation directly with them. So yeah, go and speak to them.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.